7:05 from Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center, TCO PC. Yeah, you know we. It's Paul Allen with Pete Bercich, analyst for the Vikings Radio Network since 2007, a former linebackers coach for the Vikes and also a former linebacker and special teams demon for Denny Green's Minnesota Vikings at Pete Bercich via social media, specifically Twitter, for hardcore football takes. DJ Wanham. He had a sack last evening. It was the sixth sack that he had this season.
Wilson, the snap on third down, looking left, steps up, and he's sacked! Russell Wilson was sacked at the 18-yard line. DJ Wanham, DJ got him!
Wanham is, I believe, he's set to be unrestricted.
Good boy.
At the end. Well, no, I'm saying that's the bid. Do it now. I'm not. It's DJ. Yeah. DJ sitting on. DJ's gotten better. His best season of his career is not even close. But maybe getting something done with him during the season, maybe it'd be a little easier than the off season when you got some deep things you're going to start thinking about. Right, and good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, you have. I want to get through this one first, right? Let's get through this year first. But, you have some decisions to make. You got to see if Dobbs is going to be the future, and that's obviously going to affect how you're going to deal with Kirk Cousins. Danielle Hunter, right? You got to figure out what you're going to do with him, and then
Darisaw.
Darisaw, and then you have DJ Wanham, and obviously, and then again, you have JJ. So
that's what I'm saying.
Have fun with that.
Well, I'm not saying DJ Wanham is nickels and dimes. But, it's not a $200 million deal.
No.
So it's like if that's a low hanger, he likes it here. He's playing well. I happen to be of the belief Brian Flores will be the defensive coordinator here next year.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Because he has a way of finding guys that fit the system.
Right.
And so.
And we heard that into the season, but we've heard it before. To hear it and see it, it's really cool.
It is. It's experience. It's knowing. It's one of the. I guess it's one of the things that you see people fail. You see guys who are very good head coaches or say coordinators, but offensively or defensively, and then they get the job at head coach, and then they go somewhere, and then they try to put in what they've been doing at at the prior team, and when you just don't have the same people to do that, it's just not like it's like the defense we ran last year. It's very simple, but you got to have two very good outside linebackers and an unbelievably good interior, defensive lineman. Yeah. And if you don't have those ponies, you don't have those guys, it's very tough to hide them. And I think that's the one thing with the flexibility and the different things that Flores does. Is these guys are all in positions to succeed, right? And it's I think it's hard for offenses to find a guy to pick on per se, right? If they have a guy who they want to go after, it's not as easy to find that person and to just wear them out. So they kind of don't know what they're going to get. Russell Wilson was verklempt a lot of the night last night. It's last night, jeez.
Right.
He didn't know what he was, he didn't know what he was seeing. He just didn't know for a lot of it.
And that's surprising with him.
And for a guy who's been around forever.
He's super smart.
Veteran quarterbacks. We've done better. The younger the quarterback, the less experienced the quarterback, the better our defense is done, I think, because of all those looks.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really until the end where they made a decision that they're just going to hit the back out of the backfield. This isn't just check through and turn around and catch the ball. This is almost really, I think, going primary to the running back as an outlet. And they, were able to move the football. And if we just make a play in the end zone, we win the game. There's a couple of opportunities, a ton of. The whole thing, the game last night.
Didn't it piss you off?
Well, yeah, of course it did.
Well, not every loss. Like I'll leave and go home, or we'll fly back, and I'm like, all right, whatever. This could have been better, and JJ jumping for the pylon Thursday night football. Right. We're going to get back at 5 a.m. It would have been much more fun to win it, but I hated this loss. This was really, really frustrating because they threw it back to a time of the year where they were irresponsible with the football. They threw it back to a time of the year where players were dropping easy interceptions in the end zone. And a lot of it comes down to, more about this certainly than all of us, with the bye week and you being a former coach and player. But seriously, man, I mean, that's 15 games of physical and or mental preparation. And I just feel at certain times of the game that certain situations are getting fatigued and or tired, and we're either making mistakes offensively or we're getting gouged defensively.
Well, yeah, and then you look at how much having JJ on the field, what would that have done? Would that have garnered this team a point, 2 points, 3 points? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So there's that lingers as well. To lose to Sean Payton, not a fan, right? You're not a fan, and not a fan of his, and that's the long history that we have with him. But you're right. Not that you lose the game, Paul. You nailed it. It's how we lost that game.
Yeah,
turning the ball over 3 times. And it's not a surprise when you play these guys.
Yeah.
You know, Kansas City turns the ball over 4 times. They play Buffalo, and they should have lost if not for an offsides on a missed field goal. Yeah. They had 5 that game, and they barely won. They needed every minute of the game to beat us, and they were +3.
Yeah,
that's 12 in 3 games. I mean, it's just like, come on, you went and played at their level. Now, granted, I mean, to their point, they're a very physical team, especially defensively, and some guys are probably going to get fined.
But not that interior of the defense. I have never seen. I can't remember the last time I saw an interior of a defense as bad against the run as them.
Yeah, well,
I mean, you get on Josie Jewell or Alex Singleton, and the bet's over, and they lost.
Right. I mean, Jonathan Harris can be moved.
Yep.
They can double team and move him.
DJ Jones is better than I thought.
Well, DJ Jones he's so big.
Yeah.
It's just that's why teams want to run outside zone, make him run, and then that's tough. But to run at him is not easy to do.
That's true.
So.
Like Zach Allen is awful against the run.
Singleton and Jewell, their linebackers are what they are. They're good blitzers, right? They're very good blitzers.
Yeah, they're fast.
And the interception was the linebacker on Ty Chandler, and you take that guy down the middle. You just get enough of him to tap the arm of the quarterback that just gets the interception. So you block that guy a little better, maybe we win the game. Metellus had one. He had an opportunity to get one. That would have been huge too. The touchdown was the Mekhi Blackman thing at the end of the game. The touchdown. It's like he has to figure that out. Mm-hmm. He has to figure out what he's going to do in that situation when he's going up against a 6'4" receiver, because there are a lot of them out there. And again, he wasn't surprised by the play. He was in the perfect spot. He moved them, he was midpointing like you do in cover 2, and he, saw the ball, was locked on the ball the whole way, and just, you've got to do something more in that situation to bat that football down, right? Because you can watch him up on top. He widens himself out, right? He's widening himself out in the flat just like he's in cover 2 in case they throw the short into the deep. And he breaks on the ball as soon as it's thrown. So it's no surprise. It's not as if he played that ball too short. He's already working his way back there when that ball's in the air. I mean, he's right there. Oh, wow, and you just have to go up. You just have to go up and do something other than slap an arm of a very strong wide receiver. He played it
perfectly until it was, who was the corner we used to have? Where you were like, he does 95% of it perfect every single play. But it's right at the money spot. He goes broke.
I mean,
remember what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. My point is if Caleb Evans is in on that play, is it a different game? Right? We have a lot of guys that have been in and out, hurt, key
that's
positions,
a hell of a catch
all
by
those
Sutton.
Different things. Yeah, it was a very good catch by Sutton. But I don't know, man. I'm more concerned about the offense and what Denver did to slow us down, or if we did it ourselves. So I got take a look at the film.
Might have been Mike Hughes.
For some reason, I don't know if it was the level that we were sitting or whatever. It was harder to see the line play and everything going on up front from where we were. I don't know if we were lower than normal or what it was, but
we were lower than normal.
It was very tough to. I didn't come away from the game feeling or getting a feel for what was going on up front per se. So it's something we'll have to take a look at.
Well, in the early, I mean, this is not going to surprise you. I asked you as we went to break, late in the game, we're -3. I asked you before we came back, and I think the Vikings had the ball. I'm like, so if you're -3 in the take give, I mean, what is it, a 5% chance you win or something like that? So I put in a good 15, 20 minutes on the flight back last night to find multiple sources to kind of corroborate what we're talking about here. And over the last 23, it goes back to 2000. Mm-hmm. Teams that are -3 in
like
the
8%, 6%.
It's 9 point something. It's a 10. Right. You win the game. But how about this part of it? Over the last quarter century, if you are -3, you give the ball away 3 more times than you take it, you lose by an average of 13 points a game. So, I mean, there are some in there that are 20 and higher, some that are 7, 8, and 9, or like us, 1 that skew the average.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's why that's why it was not a loser's lament during the call last night with you and I and Ben on the sideline. We were just venting like, are you kidding me? I mean, this is so September, what they're doing with these drops.
We've seen this play before.
Who in the hell loses 14 fumbles in an entire season? And we're 11 into it. We've lost 14. Are you kidding me?
I don't know. Yeah, what do you do at this point? At this point in the season, you have to figure it out.
All Mekhi Blackman has to do is jump up and just put his hand up,
Something.
It was weird. He watched the ball like he was
right there.
Yes.
He played it perfectly.
And he had the guy in the flat, so he sold like, hey, Russ, I'm going to run up over here. So Russ lofts one back left, and he's really good at doing that. Mekhi recovers beautifully, and in essence, like he's calling the game or watching it on TV like a rube. He just watches it come in the whole way.
He's trying to time it up. That's why 5'10" corners don't get drafted first round, top 10.
Yeah, tell that to Antoine Winfield.
Yeah, he was a little bit different, a little bit, but that's why they want tall corners. That's why they want the tall guys. They don't want the fight. It's just. And it's not that he can't be good. He has to figure out what works for him. Mm-hmm. So he played, like I said, he played more than normal.
Yeah.
Played a lot more than normal. Fine. So the defense they did a good job for the most part. And you have a couple plays that you want to have back, and you got some pressure on the quarterback. 3-man rush is still very productive. The rush is getting there, and offensively, we just got to find one more play, man. We just got to find. I think we should have attacked the outside a little bit more. They were starting to rob and do different things in the middle of the field, keeping the safeties in there.
Defense.
They know that Dobbs likes to throw the ball in the middle of the field, and obviously, Hawkinson's a big part of it. That's something that changed. But when you do that, you then leave your corners on an island. And there's going to be a lot of room out there to operate. And so we have to start taking more advantage of that. That's why, again, if JJ comes back, defenses are going to have to make a decision. And it's going to be tough. So, we'll see. We'll see.
Here comes the chuckling con
with that defense.
Absolutely.
There it is.
Anthony Barr played 12 snaps last night.
Glad you brought that up.
From the street to bring in the heat. How did formerly 5'5", now 5'4", operate with Flores' defense last night?
Well, I know he had, with Leber being right there on the sideline, had one big tackle on a third down that he had.
He stuck a guy well.
Yeah, most of the time I think most of the time he was out there, he was rushing the passer. And I think that's what Flores is doing. He has him out there for certain packages to do certain things, so you don't have to memorize and know the entire system just to get out there and play a play or two. But he looked fine. It's too bad Anthony Barr isn't about 7 years or 6 years younger in this scheme, because I would love to see what Flores would do with the talent, a unique talent like Anthony Barr, because it was a big deal. Remember when we drafted him? Here's a guy who went to UCLA as a running back, and then they switched him to linebacker. So he's an offensive player, goes to defense, and then everyone's saying he's 6'5". There's no way he could play inside linebacker. No way. And we did it. And they you know what I mean? They put him in that position, and he obviously succeeded. But that unique talent set with a Flores, I mean, oh my God, it would have been fun to see his career in this defense.
With Anthony, even what we do get, here's a Nirvana type situation, and it actually would be really, really good if it worked out this way. But I mean, again, it's a 10 out of 10 situation. You got Hunter and Wanham, all right? And then you got Patrick Jones, who played maybe his best game of the season last night. You can win with those three because they have won with those three. So then let's say you get Marcus Davenport back in a month. So I'm going to be conservative.
In a month, the season's going to be over in a month.
I'm going to say 2 or 3 games left in the season. Okay, so say you get Davenport back.
When does he come off of the 4-week IR? Isn't it now?
Yeah, but he had surgery. I think there was a surgery involved. So I'm not.
There was.
Yeah, I'm not counting on him until Christmas-ish. All right, so again, you will get him back. So then with Anthony, it's if Anthony can stay healthy and not, it's not problem with the knees done forever. It's the lingering stuff, missing practice.
Yeah.
If you can avoid that mostly, and when he gets in shape and up to speed with this Flores defense, because Barr can roll inside and take heat off Ivan Pace Jr.
Yeah.
And I think that could be instrumental late season in this defense. So you'd have 99, 98, 91, 54, 0, and 40. And that's a pretty formidable bunch right
Hopefully
there.
58 back, too. Getting Hicks back.
Right. That whole thing, the emergency surgery part.
That thing weirded you out, didn't it?
Yes, it really did.
Yeah.
And plus, I adore Jordan, and I just don't really know how bad this thing is.
No, I agree with you. That's the thing with Anthony Barr is if it's a wear and tear issue on the knee, then you just don't wear him out as much, right? You kind of spoon feed him in that respect and keep his snap count down, and away we go. So yes, there's possibility there. There's talent there. There's something that can happen there. I mean, are we saying this is the answer or the solution or to take us to the next level? This defense has already taken it. Yeah. This is the same group we had last year, Paul.
Mostly.
And look at the difference in how this defense is playing.
Yeah.
Right? It's remarkable, the improvement that this defense has made. It's remarkable how much better guys like Harrison Phillips are playing, DJ Wanham, Daniil Hunt, but Bullard, too. Bullard's making plays. He's out there doing things. Kyrus Tonga, he goes out there because Dean Lowry goes down, so Tonga gets to play quite a bit. He made a couple nice plays, 1 tackle for loss, I believe.
Yeah.
So, again, I have to be very hesitant to sit there and point a big finger or to say something about the defense. And that's why I said what I said on Twitter last night. It's like 3 turnovers. It's that simple.
Yeah, it really is.
Not rocket science.
And that's why I'm not at this stage of the season, man. I'm not finger pointing guy at Alexander Madison either, because in just watch. Okay, the fumble sucked, but I mean he went for nearly 6 yards a clip, maybe 4 and change at the end of the day, at the end of the equation, because like 5 and high change in the first quarter. But in just watching replays, as you and Ben are talking, they blitzed so much in the second half. The Broncos did. Madison's pass protection. I'm watching it now, and he's 3 for 3 in the second half with what I'm watching.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
It is,
and that is an underrated major part of the deal. So it's like overly emotional fans, which could be me, which could be Nordo, or
all of us.
People, or all of us, right? Yeah. It's I'm pulling my tickets. You got to get rid of Madison and play Chandler 30 times a game. Well, I don't know if they'll necessarily feel that same way on Tuesday or Wednesday or up to another game, when really with Madison and Chandler, I like how Nordo put it early in the show, is that if you had certain traits that Madison does and the God-given speed Chandler has and the elusive nature, and you put those two things together, you'd have a hell of a running back. You
would. Yeah, you had a lot of yards after contact last night, which was something that we hadn't seen, I think, a lot this year. We're doing some pulling with the offensive line. That's working a little bit. We got a little something going with that. So
the old bend back.
The old bend back and some different things. But you're right. The pass protection is, we're a team that throws the football.
Yeah.
Right? We throw the ball. I mean, I don't even know what the number is now, but 60% of the time at least. Somewhere in there. So the pass protection has to be there. And Alexander Madison is very good in that aspect. Dalvin Cook was really good at that too. That's the one on the under. That's why I'm saying Dalvin Cook was so rare, because he really didn't have any holes in his game. The guy could do pretty much everything, and that's rare to see in the NFL.
Now the with Dobbs, and I'm asking you to channel your inner former player and coach here. Dobbs, I'm having to pull myself back to not use the word elite when it comes to him and his first move when he's going to move and run. Mm-hmm. You know, the twitch, the slide, the bend, the bend over, just he's so naturally gifted with that very, very first thing to make everybody miss. But Denver did a really good job last night taking away that second and third move. So here's the question. Is it coached up to like run at a spot? You know, so in other words, we're going to blitz here and we're going to put pressure on this kid and then he's going to spin out of it. So let's take the contain part, I guess is what it would be, right?
Right. You have to have somebody who it's all about where the pressure is coming from. So if you're blitzing up the middle, your two defensive ends they can't just pin their ears back and say, I'm going to go sack the quarterback.
Yeah.
They have to contain rush. They have to know that the pressure is coming from the middle, so the quarterback is probably going to be flushed outside one way or the other. So they have to be aware of that, right? So they can do a little bit more of a race. They can stay a little bit wider. From what I saw, what Denver did a good job of was just sending 5 or whatever, but collapsing the entire offensive line. Right? Just taking guys down the middle across the board and then collapsing that pocket so you don't give the escape lanes. It's complete 100% total opposite of what you saw with Kirk Cousins. Where with Cousins, they were doing 3-man line games. Guys were getting edgy. They all knew right where Kirk was going to be standing, so they were fine with that. If you leave a big alley to one way, he's not going to go anywhere anyway. So we'll eventually find him where he's supposed to be and where he will be. This is the complete opposite. This is, I think, taking guys down the middle and then just not giving Dobbs a lot of room to make those moves.
Yeah,
and that's my feeling. I have to watch film to verify that, but.
Yep.
I think that they did when they started doing a better job of hemming him up, or when he got in trouble, he didn't feel space in any direction, and that was something that they did. So our offensive line, they're going to have to drop the anchor a little bit, right? You're going to have to start dropping the anchor a little bit.
And if Ty Chandler's going to play more, then he needs to drop the anchor against Josie Jewell. I mean, it's Jewell.
Yeah, no question.
And Jewell came on that blitz. He was the one that messed the whole thing up on the pick.
Right. And he didn't whiff on him either.
No, he got trucked.
He stuck his nose in there.
But that's the thing. Jewell is not this big, physical, push you around linebacker, man.
No, but like I said earlier, though, you go back and watch, Denver, who they play when they played Buffalo.
Yeah,
those two, Singleton and Jewell, were doing twist stunts and different things. They're not bad at rushing the passer.
Yeah,
they're not. So
and Samaje Perine in open space ain't bad.
No, so
that's a nice little hit by them.
My point is that for Ty Chandler, these guys are not awful. These linebackers are not awful when it comes to blitzing. They're pretty good. So no excuse. You still have to take a guy down the middle and hold on to him. So I don't know, man. I don't know. All I know is Joanne Williams coming up with a big play. How about that?
Yeah.
That's exactly what we were talking about earlier with Flores.
Was that in the end zone, or was that Andrew
Booth?
End zone. Or was that Andrew Booth Jr.?
No, that was Joanne Williams coming up with a zero blitz and coming in and pulling the ball up. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Nardo. What'd you say?
No, it's all good. We're in different spots. It's disjointed, but I was loving the conversation and the route you guys were going with Dobbs. Real quick, into his fourth game now, PA and I had talked about maybe implementing boots or different ways maybe that Dobbs evolves and continues to, looking ahead as quickly as next Monday. But is there anything, putting that coaching hat on again, after now you have a sample size of 3 games that if you're KOC, you're hammering on with Dobbs, either to simplify things, to find some connectivity with his hands and the ball so we eliminate fumbles, just some aspects of maybe what you're focused on if you're KOC talking with Josh this week?
Right now, at Monday, nothing off the top of my head. I'd have to think about that. I mean, I'll be in better position and probably say some things tomorrow, getting a better look at it. We need to throw the ball outside a little bit more, or a lot more. The only other thing that I've seen a few times are the crossing routes and the ball being thrown behind receivers a little bit. I think he could have hit Addison on one play in particular, but the ball was thrown a little bit behind him. So hopefully that timing will improve. I'd love to see more of the deep outs, some of the, whenever you get that corner one-on-one with your wide receiver, it's hard for them to hold off the deeper 12, 15, 17-yard comeback routes and those things. So taking advantage of those, I'd like to see. We're not hitting the deep overs and some of the other things down the field that we saw with Cousins that we were doing before. So hopefully we can get some of that in, or just some shots down the field. I mean, what's the furthest he's throwing the ball down the field? The air?
I think that's a lack of JJ thing. It's just building him up a little bit. Appreciate you stopping by. Thank you, bud.
No problem.
Pete Bercich, analyst, Vikings Radio Network. The other analyst, the on-field analyst, Ben Leber, has an exclusive chat with Kevin O'Connell following each and every Minnesota Vikings game before he meets the media. We will hear what KOC had to say to Nacho around the corner. Then a border battle with the head cheese to finalize 9 to noon.
KFAN, the Fan.
Welcome back, 9 to noon. Vikings lose 21-20 yesterday. We'll get some border battle opinions from Sinykin next segment, but we do like a day after a game, if we can, 9 to noon, to replay Ben Leber's exclusive post-game interview that he does only on the Fan, and you get to hear him win or lose. Sadly, 5 in a row to the good. Last night, a bad one, but Ben Leber gets to sit down with the head coach, Kevin O'Connell, chat about the game. Let's listen to see how it went last night.
This was an issue at the start of the season. Things sort of got righted, but here it is again. The turnover conversation. Does this game basically just boil down to the -3, the take it?
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. We talked about it. Was kind of the first thing we talked about this week as a football team. Is that's what the Denver Broncos had been really gaining a lot of momentum doing here at this point in the season was forcing turnovers and getting points off those turnovers. So losing it 3-0 tonight, and the turnover margin was disappointing for sure. Thought defensively, their ability to respond and hold them to 3 was big. And really, when you lose the turnover battle 3-0, and you still have a chance down 1 at the end, and maybe give G a swing at it to win the football game, I think that's a credit to the team effort. But those turnovers were critical, and they will continue to be a winning and losing stat for every team in this league. It just creates a lot of things to overcome. It provides a lot of opportunity on a night when our defense was limiting some of those opportunities to win the time of possession the way we did, run the football the way we did. There was a lot of things really good in all 3 phases. The fake execution by Matt Daniels' guys. There was a lot to try to win the football with tonight. I credit our guys for their effort, but in the end, the turnover battle will always be the story of every season, not just this season, going on the road and losing it 3-0.
It seemed like there was some lack of downfield shots and attempts. Was that a product of game plan by you guys, or something that you guys just saw that the Broncos defense was doing to kind of take that stuff away?
No, we called a few of them. We definitely called a few of them. They were, they've got some good safeties that play in the deep part of the field well. We were able to get some isolations here and there, but definitely want to try to get more chunk plays when you're running it the way you are, the way we were, and kind of controlling the time of possession. We mixed in some shots here and there. I thought Josh checked the ball down on a couple of those shots and gained some real positive yardage. So we'll keep on trying to build, the different ways of getting vertical on people, through how we want to run our offense. But I thought we moved it well enough. Would have loved to finish in the red zone a couple more times with touchdowns. But across the board, it all circles back to one stat. When you go on the road, you can't do those things, and we did. And I've got to fix that, and we'll go right back to work.
Ty Chandler has been getting a lot more opportunities, obviously, because of some injury and other things going on with the running back room. But I believe he goes over 7 yards a carry tonight. Has a huge, almost 20 yards on that 3rd and 20 swing pass. What have you seen from his improvement game by game?
Yeah, his explosiveness shows up. You can feel him on the field as far as his ability to not only be explosive, with speed and burst, but he's a physical hard runner. I thought the way Alex and him really complemented each other tonight was really what we're looking for. There's really a scenario where we feel really good about both those guys in the game and really keeping them both fresh, riding the hot hand maybe on a drive here or there, but we really want to see both those guys out there getting touches, some designer-type plays for Ty with how explosive that he is. And I thought just across the board, both those guys, Alex, had the critical fumble there when we had just kind of earned a new set of downs on the plus 34 going in. And listen, Alex ran very well tonight, ran very hard. Just had that one, they get the ball out there. We'll continue to find ways, Ben, to, move the football, running it, getting our explosives when we can. Hoping to get, JJ back at some point here where, there's been a lot of experience and growth through this offense, not only just with Josh coming aboard and moving the team the way he has, but just with all of our guys really settling in. I told our guys after the game, we know what wins and loses football games in this league, and I believe we've got everything we need in that locker room, and then some to go back to work this week, improve, have a big, NFC North matchup back at home. We'll be looking forward to getting back on the grass and competing again.
So last one is, you mentioned the defense. With all those takeaways that Denver had, only 9 points. They did not score a touchdown off of those takeaways, but, they just got a little bit leaky on that last game-winning drive. A lot of little checkdowns to P. Ryan. Like, what did you see from what they did on that last drive? What we were doing? How were they able to score that touchdown?
Yeah, Russell Wilson's. He's had a lot of those in his career, and thought they did. They moved the ball. They took some checkdowns. They were able to kind of just keep on pushing it down the field and getting into the scoring range, and then they made a play. Looked like we were right there on that throw, and they just made a pitch and catch there. Two really good players. Listen, Flo's guys, the way they battled all night, they've once again, I thought, had a very, very solid performance. They just, they got the score in the 2 minute, and then, that's where we've got to go back on the field as an offense, like we've done many times, and go find a way to at least give Greg a swing at it, and give them credit for getting the stop there at the end.
All right, Coach. Really appreciate your time, and we'll see you on Monday night.
Yeah, thanks, Ben.
All right, guys, back to you.
That's head coach Kevin O'Connell with Ben Leber almost immediately following last night's loss. Winning streak done. Head coach sounds down about it. We're all down about it. Time to start a new streak. But final segment 9 to noon, we'll switch topics briefly to the Green Bay Packers, who beat the Los Angeles Chargers yesterday at Lambeau. Dave Sinykin, the head cheese, helps wrap 9 to noon.
The Fan.
Nothing I can do.
Border Battle.
Yeah, it's a weekly piece, unless we run a little long with a Vikings-related guest. But here's David Sinykin at TC Head Cheese via Twitter. And he also writes with ZoneCoverage.com, just like Nordo does. And his Green Bay Packers improved to 4-6 with an exciting 23-20 victory over the Chargers. David, good morning, and what'd you think of the win?
Hey, Paulie. It was nice to get a win in that kind of circumstance. Packers have had, 5 or 6 coin flip games so far this year, and most of them have gone the other way. But, just like last week in Pittsburgh, Love had the ball deep, late in his own territory, getting a touchdown to go ahead. And this time he was able to lead the team down and deliver, and Packers got lucky with some drops by the Chargers that may have made this game a Chargers victory, but we'll take the luck. The main thing for Packers fans and for us to see this year is growth from Jordan Love. He had his first 300-yard day, hit 10 different receivers. He's looking more and more comfortable, and his young pass catchers are starting to really step up. So the offense looks a lot better than it did a month ago.
That Kenny Clark deflected pass at the end of the game. I mean, I'm a Kenny Clark guy. I just always have liked him out of UCLA. And, I mean, big man, the veteran's tired at that stage of the game. And to have the wherewithal to be able to deflect that pass, yeah, I mean, he's just a fantastic player.
Yeah, he is. And earlier in the fourth quarter, he stripped Austin Eckler inside the 5-yard line, and the Packers recovered one of the key moments in the game. So he did author two of the biggest plays defensively, and, it's still a defense that's got some problems, some holes, some missing guys, but he's the anchor. And he came in from UCLA so young. He was like 20 when they asked him to start as a rookie, and so he's come along so far, and this defense is way different when he's on the field, and he was the difference yesterday.
Do you think you have a problem Thursday? Because I do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have a problem on Thursday. I think the Lions are going to be ornery after a really ugly win against the Bears, and Packers have had some good success against them on Thanksgiving Day. And I was hoping to maybe steal the one Sunday because at Detroit and then Taylor Swift and Lambeau on a Sunday night, probably not going to find a win the next couple weeks.
But here's the reason I said it as quasi-flippantly as I did, is because the Packers beat the Lions so badly for so long and kept them down that from the last game last year through this year, you can just tell that they take immense pleasure in not only beating Green Bay, but throttling them more so than any team in the league. Do you feel that?
100%. You could just go back to Week 18 last year when they knew they were out of it, but they knew they could maybe end the Aaron Rodgers era at Lambeau Field, and they took that to heart and obviously had a huge game, and they just dominated the first meeting on a Thursday night about a month or so ago. Now, Green Bay was missing some key guys, and they want a little revenge, and so I think they'll have a little bite to them, and they should score some points. But no, Detroit takes this rivalry personally. You're right. It's 30 years of ownership, kind of like Chicago. And so, yeah, they'll take full advantage on a national stage to start out Thanksgiving Day by doing all they can to embarrass the green and gold if they can.
The last one, 45 seconds, you get it all. Your son Jackson at IU in Bloomington. How great is it spending time, even just like 2 days with him there? Because I hadn't seen my daughter in like 3 months out Boulder way. And just on a Saturday night to sit in the hotel room and she's doing an essay and I'm doing the game calling depth chart, just to like walk their walk for a day or two. Isn't that just great?
Dude, there's nothing better. And for me on Saturday, I was actually in Ames, Iowa with baby brother Dylan. Picking him up for Thanksgiving. We went to the Iowa State-Texas game under the lights at Jack Trice Stadium and visited the fraternity house and got him cleaned out of his dorm. I mean, yeah, it's just you live for those kind of moments. I got all 3 of my kids home right now. We're heading to Milwaukee on Wednesday, and it's the singular favorite week of the year. But when your kids are away at college and now you got to count your moments, it makes this past weekend, this coming week, really as good as it gets.
You're a terrific father, and happy Thanksgiving to you and the Sinykin Covenant, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, brother. Right back at you. Have a good week.
See you about Dave Sinykin at TC Head Cheese, zonecoverage.com to read his recaps and previews of Packers football. Likewise for Nordo's Numbers, and they do really good work also at Zone Coverage with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Thank you very much for listening today. I'm Paul Allen from Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. A Talker Tuesday tomorrow unfurls when we rise and shine at 9. Here comes the Con, mad producer, master mixer of the Monday montage to put a wrap on the show.
And thanks to Casey's for sponsoring the wraps, where go to Casey's, you can buy a large one topping, and you get a second one half off, and it's thinner original crust, your choice, they're both elite. Or you can get a medium coffee for just $1 when you get a breakfast sandwich or burrito. It's Casey's. It's here for good. Stop into one today. Opposing teams not shaking in their loafers, finding new ways each week to beat on the Gophers. More downs and ups in a season unlucky. Are there silver linings by beating Iowa and Bucky? Vikes fan line taking all the calls, most of them dedicated to Madison dropping the ball. Fumbleitis returning a big way last night. -3. It's like going one-handed in a fist fight. You want to nickname the QB a pastronaut? Well, in the sky mile high, it was all for naught. Everyone wondering, urban nights and country bumpkins, midnight strikes. Does Dobbs turn to a pumpkin? No JJ, but need Josh to carry us. Some magic, but the situation remains precarious. There's the hockey team, got them running afoul, but the top NBA team in the West, it's the Howl.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app